there are absolutely stats that say if somebody gives you a 5-star review, they are way less likely to leave your agency.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing with referrals. So I'm going to ask you for a referral. If you give me a referral, you're staying with me for a long time. I can guarantee that. And a lot of people like to go out there and say, oh, the easiest way to retain people is to get them to buy more policies. Sometimes, but sometimes you come across as a dick that you're trying to sell them something. Do you get what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Not to, sorry, I got to, yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Flip Podcast, where we help agents build successful agencies. Before we get into today's show, just wanted to say again, like I always do, if you have not subscribed yet to the podcast or to the YouTube channel, wherever you listen or watch, please do so. I'm super excited today to have Tolga Demirel. He's a co-founder of Agency Zoom, and he is joining me today. Tolga, thanks for joining me, man.
I'm super stoked to be here, man. Thanks for having me. I've been following you for a while, and I'm glad to be on here. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. So, the goal of this show is to help current agency owners and future agency owners basically build a better agency. And one of the pieces of that is the technology and the systems that you either use or should be or could be using in the agency. And so I was on a coffee talk with I don't know how to say a coffee talk with Craig and Jason, and we were talking. So we have 2 locations for our agency, and saying, man, it would be so nice if there was a way for us to have a monitor or a TV or some place where we could project the sales numbers for each location or the agency as a whole, so we could all kind of, continue to root each other on and have a little competition, that sort of thing. And they both were like, dude, it's Agency Zoom, you gotta have Tolga on. So I was like, oh man, sweet. Well, anyway, I reached out, Tolga agreed to come on. So yeah, dude, thanks again. So
yeah, super excited.
Yeah, why don't you just kind of go back as far as you want to go? Kind of how did you get started down this road? What made you start Agency Zoom, and kind of catch us up to today?
Awesome, man. Yeah, so the journey of Agency Zoom starts when I opened my first Allstate agency. So in your world, I come from the dark side, but don't worry, they're good people.
Hey,
they're all good people too. And
I was an Allstate agent.
All right, cool. So we're So and I still definitely love that world, no doubt about it. But anyways, October of 2011, I opened my first Allstate agency in the greatest city in America, by the way, home of the Buckeyes, Columbus, Ohio. Let's go Buckeyes. And we came out of the gate pretty hot as far as writing policies compared to the market that I was in, which is a 3-state territory. And every single month, our sales continued to grow. So we started hot, and our sales continue to go up and up and up each and every single month. Well, about a year into owning the agency, and mind you, I started from pure scratch.
Yep.
I noticed that our sales started to plateau out, and I gathered my team up for our huddle like we always have, and I said, gang, what the heck is going on here? Why are our sales going down? I'm listening to your phone calls. You guys sound spectacular. We role play every single day. We watch coaching content. What's going on? And they looked at me and they said, dude, it's really simple. You're not a smart guy. But when we started, we didn't have any customers, and now we got customers that are calling us, emailing us, so we got to do stuff for them. I said, all right, this is all bullshit. You guys got excuses. Just the tyrant manager. But in my back of my head, I said, I got to figure this out. So essentially what I did was I bought everybody a yellow notepad. Technically, we did this in Evernote, but just think of it like that. I bought everybody a yellow notepad, put it by their desk, said, every time you do something that is not sales related, I want you to write it down on this notepad. And they did that. And sooner or later, they would come across something that was already on the notepad. So they put a check tally mark next to it. And then after about 2 or 3 weeks, I gathered all that information up and was very easily able to identify the top 3 things that were taking my team away from sales or occupying their time so they couldn't sell. And what I was also able to see was they were the result of a poor onboarding experience. So we were really good at selling the customer,
Yeah.
but we were doing a shitty job at onboarding the customer, continuing that wow experience. And so at Allstate, there are certain discounts, which a lot of carriers have, that require action by the customer in order to keep those discounts on the renewals or the ID cards. And there were certain things like DriveWise and telematics and all those things. And although when I listened to the phone calls, my people were going over that process and telling the people what to do, let's face it, man, the customer's buying a policy. They're not writing instructions down. They don't want to, they want to know how much it is, how they make the payment, and keep it moving, right? So you can have the best salesperson in the world explaining it in the best way. That's not what the experience the customer wants. So I knew we had to develop onboarding process. So it's really simple. I created a Word document, and it said, hey, on day 1, as soon as you sell the policy, you do this. Day 2, day 10, all the way up into the first renewal. These certain things that have to happen, put it on your calendar. And they did that, and guess what happened to our sales? They started going up because we got less phone calls, less emails, etc. So our sales started going up and going up and going up. Well, back in the day, I used to be a nerd programmer, and I used to do like, I used some of my nerd magic and turn that Word document into a VB scripted Excel sheet. Nothing crazy, but just something to make it a little bit quicker even more. And then our sales really started to take off. And then I started getting on people's radars, and agents started asking me questions like, yo, dude, what are you doing? Like, these are some record numbers, you know, not only from our territory, but from other territories. Started building a brand for myself within the Allstate community. And that was just in full disclosure. I would just tell people, hey, that's my onboarding. I have a great onboarding process. And it was like an aha moment for me to monetize this. I mean, to monetize my onboarding process, you know, in full disclosure. So when Agency Zoom first started, the only thing we did was help agents onboard their customers. That's it. And we got a pretty good ecosystem of agents that were using our system very quickly, and they were starting to see the same results that I was. Their sales were going up because their people had more time. Well, then our users would say, dude, can you also do this? And we took so me and my other 2 co-founders, we said, hey, we have a never say no policy. If an agent needs something, it probably is going to help other agents as well. So we're not going to say no. It's just some things take longer to implement than others. So we said we're a never say no policy as long as it comes from an agent and it makes somewhat sense. And then we want to be built by agents for agents. We don't want to build solutions just to build solutions and then sell them to agents. We want what agents want and then give it to them, if that makes sense. So we started adding in things like a sales dashboard and how we track sales. And then it just kind of just kept growing and growing and growing. And here we are today with, you know, almost 18,000 plus users on our system.
Dang, really?
And now it's not just Allstate agents, it's independents and what we're really excited about, other captives. And we're going to continue to grow, and we're really, really excited about some things coming up for 2020.
Nice.
That's how it started.
Nice.
Yeah,
well, I want to get into some of the components of Agency Zoom and kind of what you guys offer, how it, you know, what solutions it actually provides, what you see as, you know, problem areas in agencies that you guys fix. But before we get into that, so I was talking with a friend of mine last night, and he's a mortgage broker, and we were talking about, we get together every once in a while and we'll talk, you know, strategy, how we're building our businesses, that sort of thing. And one of the things that we have just started doing in our agency, which is way overdue, is segmenting sales and service. Okay. So before, everyone did everything. So now we're kind of segmenting it. And one of the things, so I'm curious about your take on this, because when you started as an Allstate agent, sounds like you had just salespeople really going after sales, and that was, you know, your focus. And so almost 100% of our business comes through referral, right? In some form. And so one of the things I'm slightly leery of in segmenting them and hiring people who are just producers is that I really don't want them to hard sell a referral. You know, like, so say a mortgage person
agree with that.
over. Yeah. So I'm curious what like what your take would be on that when you have people who are like, you know, their job is to sell and to produce
Yeah.
and to close. Like,
Right.
would you have those people handling referrals as well? Or is there a different process for referrals? You know,
Yeah.
then what do you think?
Yeah. Great question, man. So early on in my journey, my people were hybrid too, because I couldn't afford to
Yeah.
dude, you have to answer the phone. I can't afford a customer service person. I was eating scratches. I was trying to
Right. Right.
survive
Right.
at that point. It's not easy to open an all agency. A lot of people know that. But my thoughts are you have to get specialized as quickly as you can. It definitely will transform your agency. So once you become specialized, you have salespeople that are purely focused on sales. Coming back to your concern, I think if you're a salesperson, there's an art to it. And
Yeah.
okay, for example, we just hired a VP of sales. We're going to make this announcement. We're really doing some cool things. But and we're building out our processes and our workflows, and we're talking about how the cadences. I don't know. Do you know what I mean by cadence by
Yeah.
chance,
Yeah.
or no? Okay,
Yep.
cadence sequences or whatever, and all those are dictated by the lead source. So how we
Gotcha.
engage. This is a lot about what we're going to be doing with Agency Zoom in
That's cool.
2020.
I
Kind of
like
your
that.
problem is how you engage with the customer matters. You can't engage. Sorry, I just got one of those robocalls on my cell phone. Don't you hate those things? God, that's poor engagement right there. That is terrible engagement. Okay. So how you engage with the customer matters, right? Knowing where they came from, what their lead source is going to dictate how you engage with them. So, I mean, if a salesperson, if they're just like, I got to make a commission, well, then they're not seeing the bigger picture, which is your customer in that situation to me is not the actual customer. Your customer is the mortgage person that is going
Absolutely.
to perpetually send you business over and over again. So
Yep.
essentially, you're doing a service for their client, but it's a result of that. So how are you going to maintain that relationship? And if you understand that, that's going to tell you how you're going to treat their leads that come over, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Love it. Love it. Good, great
Yeah.
answer, man. Great answer.
No,
'Cause
thanks, man.
I was
Yeah, yeah.
kind of feeling that same thing, you know, that if you have a really solid producer, they're going to know how to handle that and how to steer that. But it sounds like with Agency Zoom, you guys are building something into it that will actually help.
Well, yeah, we're gonna let the manager kind of set the rules for engagement up. But let me backtrack on that, because having a solid producer, there's different ways you can define solid. And being a producer is really difficult because your cheese is the sale, right?
Yeah.
But it was always shocking to me that sometimes it is very difficult for a producer, unless they have a leader like yourself, to explain it to them crystal clearly, that your customer is not that customer. Your customer is the loan officer. Let me give you a perfect example of something that I saw happen in my agency that shocked me. As an ALSA agent, we tend to buy leads. Well, I'm no longer an ALSA agent, by the way, but
Okay.
I
Yeah.
bought a lot of leads. A lot of the leads that came in, they were purchasing homes. Okay. So the salesperson, the producer would call, they'd do a quote, and then that would be it. And they'd hopefully sell that deal. And I'm just like, I think a little bit differently, the bigger picture, which is, okay, they're purchasing a home. So let me get this straight. This customer went on an internet website, they filled something out to get bombarded and have this terrible experience. When the reality is they're working with a realtor that has no insurance guy that they felt confident or trusted enough in to send them to you. Instead, they had to figure it out on their own. And they're working with a loan officer that also has no insurance guy
Yeah.
that they have trust in to send it over there. So bigger picture is, like, if I'm a salesperson, I'm like, okay, one of the very first questions I'm asking while I'm going through the process of building rapport is, tell me about your loan officer. Who's he? I work with a lot of loan officers locally. I probably know him, or if I don't, I'd love to meet him so I can build a relationship. Or same thing with the realtor. Who's your realtor? Again, I work with a lot of people. It's a small community. We kind of talk. We get coffee. I'd love to grab coffee with them, tell them, learn about their experience. You get what I'm saying? And then,
Yeah,
but
dude.
that's not an easy concept. It's really not an easy concept to understand. But the sooner they can understand that, it changes everything. Because unfortunately for a producer, unless they have they get paid on residuals, every month on day one they start at zero. But if you
Right.
build those relationships, you know, oh, I'm going to get 10 deals from this guy every single month,
Yep.
guaranteed. And it's so much funner. It's just a lot of fun. Yeah.
Love it. Such a
Sorry,
great
man.
angle.
You got me all
I know.
talking on,
Love it.
I get all long-winded.
No, I love it. That's super solid idea. Cause well, yeah, I mean, just makes sense. So, okay, let's get back to Agency Zoom. Give me a feel for it. Like, I know it's a sales tool, but I was on the Agency Zoom website and I saw something about, somebody had a brief testimonial on there about they got what is it called? A review. Like someone left them a review like right away. I'm like, okay, are reviews part of it? Like what is it? Tell me about Agency Zoom.
Yeah. So what we are is we're obsessed with the customer journey of an insurance customer. Okay. And automating that journey as much as possible. So one of the challenges that we see with agents, the biggest challenge is they have too many things to do and too little time to do it in, right? And so how do you take your agency to that next level? Time is the main reason you can't do that. And how can we as a technology platform provide somebody with something that is so insanely easy to use that helps them automate their customer at every aspect of the journey in their agency? So let me tell you a little bit more about what I mean by that. The customer journey always starts with prospecting, right? Because that's where you get the name and the number. And in prospecting, there are certain stages. So you have this big stage, and in that stage, there are certain milestones, like they're a new lead, you contact them, you quote them, you sell them, certain things like that, right? Well, in each stage or each milestone, how you engage with that customer matters. It really does.
Yeah.
If you want to A, save time, and B, get higher results from it. And then after prospecting, they turn into the new business stage. And there are certain things that must happen. Well, I guess they don't have to happen, but they should happen in order to position your agency to have high retention results, right? This is your wow time the first time.
Right.
And then you move into the renewal stage, which they're perpetually renewing. And then there's a termination stage. Let's face it, people terminate. Yep. And then after they terminate, how do you win them back so they come back to the prospecting? So it's a cycle, right? And that customer, once they enter your agency at the prospecting stage, whether you know so or not, they're always in this cycle. The question is, how are you engaging with them? Problem one is identifying where they're at. So that's a big, big challenge, is for people to understand, where is this person at and how can I engage with them? That's the second part, is how can I engage with them? So let me just talk 10,000 foot scope on some things that we see that help you. So on the prospecting side, automated engagement, you guys all heard about how that stuff works, puts you in a great position to sell. On the new business side, this is where you can dramatically improve or increase the value of your agency. I'm talking about if you go to sell it, because acquisitions and consolidation is a real thing going on right now. And agencies are selling for great rates. People want to buy, and so, or whenever you retire. How can you improve the value of your agency? Retention. So there's a huge difference in the value of an agency that retains at 90% versus one that retains at 75% or 80%, as you can imagine, because of cash flows and all those things. Yeah. But how do you really move the needle on retention? I can tell you right now, if you attack the people in the renewal life cycle stage, you're not going to move the needle that much, because if they've renewed with you for a year or two, they're probably not going anywhere. Honestly, they're probably going to stay with you for 5 to 6 years if they've been through that first or 2 years. It's the first period that you get a lot of drop off. So now if you understand that, like, oh, my long-term retention is like 85 to 95% somewhere. My first-term retention is probably 75% if I'm or to 80% if I'm an okay agency. That's my opportunity to move the needle. I can move that 5 percentage points, 10 percentage points. So how do you do that? Well, first, you have to segment out your customers. Did this customer that bought an aid policy from my agency, did they just buy a policy because it was cheaper? Did they buy a policy because they love my agency? Or you know, what's the, like, what kind of customer are they? Essentially, how are they promoting your agency? Once you figure that out, so let's say this guy loves my agency. He loved the experience. We built rapport. He's a referral. You know, it was a great situation. Then we can engage with them in certain ways that are not only going to help retain in my agency, but also create more customers. So for example, if you love my agency, and I know that, I'm going to ask you for a Google review. But if you just bought a policy because I was cheaper, I don't want to ask you for a Google review because you're probably not going to give me a 5-star. And there are absolutely stats that say if somebody gives you a 5-star review, they are way less likely to leave your agency.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing with referrals. So I'm going to ask you for a referral. If you give me a referral, you're staying with me for a long time. I can guarantee that. And a lot of people like to go out there and say, oh, the easiest way to retain people is to get them to buy more policies. Sometimes, but sometimes you come across as a dick that you're trying to sell them something. Do you get what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Not to, sorry, I gotta, yeah. But I can tell you this, if you get someone to refer you somebody, that's more than anything in the world. That's because they're referring their friends and their family. So but you can't ask for that from everybody. And those people that just bought a policy, now we have to engage with them in a way that gets them to love us. And then once they love us, to do that. So we embedded Google reviews. Well, you brought that up specifically because we feel it's important. We feel it's important to, of course, acquiring new customers because Google reviews is the most important website you have, but it's also important to retention. And so we're like, all right, man, agents are spending like $300 a month just to get Google reviews. Like, dude, it's not a complicated thing. How can we embed this? We see it as a natural part of the journey of a customer. They become a customer. If they love you, they give you a review. It's just a natural part of the journey, right? And so why don't we embed this into the journey? And so we do things like that as an example. We just embedded it, included it as a free service, and we're seeing a lot of great results, and people are loving it.
That's cool. What components are there in agency Zoom? So you said dashboard. Is that dashboard for just the producer? Is it for the kind of the agency owner, the sales manager? Is it for each individual? Are there, you said there's Google reviews built in, and like, is there automated emails that go out? Is there a workflow, like cadences that people are to follow?
Definitely. Yeah, it's all that stuff. We definitely have all that, and it's insanely easy. But at the core, we have this main goal dash. There's 2 dashboards at the core. So agency Zoom, our philosophy is it's insanely easy. So generally speaking, the agency owner has to do nothing at all in our system, literally nothing at all once it's set up, and the setup takes about 10 minutes, excuse me. And then all the producer's doing is moving a lead from quoted to sold, or, they're managing a prospect. Really simple drag and drop situation. So data entry is super simple. All the data with all the technology and the workflows feeds into 2 dashboards. All right, so let me take a step back. And as you can tell, I like to talk a lot. So I'm going to elaborate. I'm going to elaborate on this point because I think it's so critically important. Agents spend a lot of time and money researching on how to be better agencies and be better agency owners, as they should. To be quite frank, they should be doing all those things. But I really think that the most important thing that an agency owner or office manager can do to see immediate results and get the direction they want to get is a lot simpler than you think. It's this. Your job as an agency owner or office manager is when everybody walks through the door, they understand what they're supposed to accomplish today.
Yeah.
So you have to set today's expectations. Then you have to communicate that to them, and then you have to hold them accountable to those results. So there's 2 areas. There's production results and there's activity results. So I'm gonna dive into those a little bit more. But production would be like, hey, you need to do $2,222 in premium in order to stay on pace with hitting your goal by the end of the month, end of the year, however you break that number down. So you, as an agency owner, first thing in the morning, whether you use agency Zoom or not, you need to figure that out. What does this guy need to do today on a production level? Let me tell him what it is, and then I have to hold him accountable. Any goals without accountability is no goals anyways.
Yeah.
Same thing so let's talk about activities or tasks or whatever lingo you want to use. Your people are going to be doing a lot of stuff throughout the day, phone calls, emails, getting lunch. There's going to be a lot of activities they do. what are the activities they must do that you know as a leader are going to put them in a position to have an opportunity for success, or put the agency in a position to have an opportunity for success. That's it. It sounds a lot, it's really simple, but figuring those dynamics out is pretty complicated. So our dashboards, our main dashboard is the production dashboard. We take that burden off of the shoulders of the agency owner of setting goals, communicating goals, and holding people accountable to goals. And we do it in an extremely positive way with gamification. We break numbers down into very small numbers that are so easy to understand and make it crystal clear. And we celebrate all the small wins with gamification, sales alerts, all kinds of fun stuff to make it fun to walk in the agency. And our idea there is that on a production level, you will crystal clearly as a producer or an agency know that your agency's done what it needs to do today and the producer has. So the results we're seeing with our production dashboard are two things. Number one, sales, people are crushing their goals. Two, producer turnover rates go down. Let's face it, being a producer is tough, especially if you're the type of producer that smiles and dials. You get burnout. I mean, unless you're building a good book of business, you're getting paid on it, it ain't an easy job. And that's why people quit, because they don't have a sense of accomplishment. So this helps them provide that on a daily basis. Then on the task level or activity level, we do the same concept, but those activities are fed in through the automation workflow and cadences that I was telling you about earlier. So the person doesn't have to figure out what are the important things. It's crystal clear to them. Hey, you need to do a welcome call today. Hey, you need to do a renewal call today. You're going to do a bunch of shit, but don't miss these two things right here.
Yeah.
You mark them complete. There's a countdown mentality. You had 4 things that are critical today. Now you have 3, now you have 2, now you have 1. So you know on an activity level, you put yourself in a position to make more sales, or you put the agency in a position to retain at a higher rate. Those are the main dashboards. Now we have all kinds of really fun, cool analytics to get you insights, not only about your new sales, but also your book of business that you can't get from your AMS system because of our integrations with certain AMSs as well. Yeah. And there's all kinds of really cool stuff as well.
So tell me about this option to broadcast sales numbers on a different screen or a TV or something like that. Like, how does that work?
Yeah. Okay. So we have our dashboard, which as an admin or the main thing, you get this kind of like God roll up view that's going to include all your locations, or you can drill down into one location. So you can put that up on your TV and that's going to update. So every time somebody makes a sale, whether they're working from home, which we're seeing a lot of remote producers, everything's going to be centralized onto that dashboard so that people can see what's going on in the agency, in this location or that location. On top of that, every time somebody makes a sale in real time, we send out a sales alert via email, and we're really excited about our mobile app that's coming out. I don't know if you guys can see this here, but a push notification on your mobile app as well, update, so I can see like everything about, so I can, like my agency's goal, you guys can't see this. I can see it's crystal clearly 1,637, top producer. I don't know if you guys can see this. No, you can't, but top producers on pace. This is in, I can see who's on pay. I mean, everything about it on mobile. So we're just, you can control how you get notified about sales and that gamification experience. But it's a lot of fun. We make the selling experience fun again. And most importantly, I want to take this back. We're talking sales a lot. This is another thing people forget. We're trying to automate. The reason we're trying to automate everything else is because at the heart, an agency is a sales organization. Remember, nobody picks up the phone to take a billing question. The customer service person doesn't even work at the agency unless somebody sold a policy. The policy is the root. Everything else is the fruit. So you have to focus on sales. And people lose sight of that so much because it's easy to get sucked into all the service aspect of it. So we really bring more of a focus to that sales mentality and creating the sales and invigorating that sales culture in the agency.
Yeah. So, you want to be kind of built by agents for agents. And so you will add components. You want to, say yes to almost everything that somebody says they need. So like, what are some of the things that people have said, man, I really want this? And you're like, yeah, like what are you seeing? What are you hearing from agents that you guys problems you're solving?
Okay. So let me talk big picture because we have some like really cool enhancements coming out. Like, I can talk about some of them, but I don't want to talk about all of them because I don't
Yeah.
want to like put it all out there yet. So like the mobile app, we can talk about that. Like, that's a problem. People want to be able to prospect on the road, and they want to
Right.
be able to manage their prospects on the road. And there are tons of solutions out there, but they're not insurance specific. They don't get the little things. So we get the little things that are regarding insurance that make it insanely easy. So that regarding that problem is I need a portable lead management system that I don't have to type a lot of data into.
Yeah.
Because insurance agents hate data entry, let's face it. Not
Right.
every
Right.
sales guy does in general. That's a problem we're solving. But let's talk bigger picture on the I think where the problem is going. There is a crap load of money being poured into InsurTech, and not only from carriers, but also financial companies as well. Everybody is getting into this game.
Yep.
And the problem that I see that agents are kind of like telling us why they need stuff and do stuff is they're getting scared. I think that the bigger picture problem is, are there going to be independent agents in the future? That like, are there
Right.
going to be
Right.
agents in the future? And what can I do to keep up with this ever changing thing? What I have to say about that is there's a lot of talk about complete transformations and all this. That's all hype. It ain't gonna happen.
Yep.
100%. I actually think personally, the independent agent channel is going to be way more stronger and needed. Things are going to change, but I recently just read a white paper that put some data in there, and that being independent agents can be more important than ever. But how it works is definitely going to be different. So that brings us to the second part of this, which is, okay, awareness is being brought to the insurance community, which generally speaking is older, right? Not like you,
Right.
you would be considered like an early adopter. You know, most of the insurance industry consists of late majority people, right?
Right.
So, but even they are becoming more aware of the technology changes are thing. So their appetite is growing. So generally speaking, the appetite for technology for insurance agents is growing, which is a great thing. The problem is implementation. There's a lot of companies that are creating solutions, or I should say this, they're creating a service and trying to sell it to insurance agents, and it's too complicated. Like, what they don't get that, like, dude, I work at an insurance agency. Most insurance agencies, generally speaking, are like 6, 8, 10 people. We all work
Yep.
right beside each other. These are my best friends. Like, we know it. Like, I don't want to train them. It needs to be so super easy. So I think people are being just flooded with a lot of stuff, and they're getting frustrated, I think, with like some solutions that are out there that, hey, I want to take this to the next step. I just don't know how to. And when I try, it's too hard. So I'm just giving up. Oh, is this going to go way past me? Am I just going to get swept under the rug? And I'm here to say, like, being an independent agent, or just any kind of agent, is going to become more important in the future. I really believe this. Things are going to change. You are going to have to adapt to technology, but like, there are not just us, there's a lot of companies who are committed to really fully understanding how it is to work in an agency and creating solutions that are just so ultra easy to implement into
Yeah.
your agency in little as one day.
Yeah.
So things are going to change. There's no doubt about it. But I really like the fact that there's more awareness coming to the community.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me ask you one more question, and this is can be related to agency Zoom, but so there's a lot of talk right now about something that Allstate has implemented or is implementing, and that is removing the service out of a lot of agencies. So
Yes.
what's your thought on that? Because
man, you can get me in trouble here, dude. You know, we have a lot of Allstate clients, and I love Allstate. I'm like, I still bleed blue.
Yeah, but
let me give you my thoughts on this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because I thought you'd be a good person, because what you do with Agency Zoom is like so sales focused. Yeah. So that's good. But you also were talking about the renewal component. You got to make that renewal call. So I know that's part of what you guys do too. So anyway, let's go.
Okay. So change is change. Change is going to happen. There's no doubt about that. I'm a sales guy. So if you want to take my service, cool. I'm willing to pay you for it. I get it. So I think I'm out of the game. Remember that. It's been a year since I've been an Allstate agent. I'm making some hypothesis here. I think if the economics work out and the economics make sense, then I think for a lot of agents, it's going to be totally okay. But then you still have those like true people that are really working hard to be a trusted advisor. And really they're the local agent. They take money orders.
Yeah.
People come in, you know,
Right.
they are that guy in their community. And I totally respect that. I was not, in full disclosure. I was just like smiling, dialing, transactional business, you know, but and letting technology handle it. So no matter what happens, they're not going to be okay with that. And I see their side of the story too. So I personally don't think they're going to require it on the agents. I just don't. The main reason why is economics, because I'm thinking like, okay, I sold an agency. Like one of my agencies I sold was a $3 million book, for example.
Right.
And I know how much that guy's paying because he's paying me. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, and I know how much he makes off of it. You know, so like if he had to pay Allstate whatever that component is, it's going to be really challenging for people that have notes out there. So it's an economic thing. Now, recently, my understanding, and again, I don't know everything, is that they've changed their front end commissions to make up for that. And from what I heard, I was like, man, this is really good, really, really good, especially if you can still service. So I think they have a lot to work out there. But if technology is for, you know, they're going to use human components, but let's say 20, 30, 40 years down the road, if technology is going to automate anything, it's going to automate service first before it automates sales.
Yeah.
I do believe that. So if you're going to offload any component of your agency, service is the easiest one to offload, because service is a process. It's number one, making sure you understand who you're servicing, because you got to engage with them a certain way. So what's the persona of this household that I'm servicing? Now that I understand that, it's a process. It is a process. Okay, this person, I know if I engage with them this way, I'm going to retain them. This, for example, like they require a lot of touch points. The other person, this millennial person who doesn't want to hear from me, doesn't do that, I can't send them the same sequences and do that. But I know that if I pop up maybe once in a while or on their birthday, or I don't know, some weird way to engage with them, they're going to retain with me for a while. It's a process. Sales is a process, but there's still some art in it, right? You got to have a little pizzazz, you know. So that's why the independent agent is going to be really important in the future. Long-winded answer to that short question. Hopefully that helps.
Yeah, cool, man. Well, dude, thank you. Anything else you want to add, or we cover everything?
I think we're good. We're just, man, we're really excited about 2020, and we're gonna be. If you don't know about us yet, independent agents, you're definitely gonna know about us. It is our full, like 99% of our dedication is going towards independent agents in 2020.
Nice. And it's so the website is agencyzoom.com.
That's right. Yep. agencyzoom.com. From there, you can book a demo. We offer live demos multiple times throughout the week, one-on-one or group demos. We give every single person a promo code that sends a demo. Try it absolutely free. We have no contracts whatsoever. We have super simple, affordable pricing. But super
cool.
fun. Hopefully you try it out.
I will, man. Hey, if someone has more questions for you or wants to reach out to you directly, where's the best place for them to find you?
Look me up on LinkedIn or Facebook, or of course you can just email me at tolga@agencyzoom.com. That's TOLGA @agencyzoom.com.
Nice, man. Dude, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you being on.
Oh man, super. I had so much fun. Thanks for having me. I've been waiting to get the invitation, and I feel privileged. I'm in, man. I made it. I can go tell my wife to give me a gold star, dude. You got to look at this star board I have on my house. It's nothing but silver stars. This is going to be the gold star now.
There we go. Thanks, dude.
Cool. All right, brother.
All right. Take care.